So there are so many good movies coming out this week because it is January, the month for Oscar fodder. You've got The Darkest Hour, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And I'm hoping to go and see those films sometime over the next week or so. If you're seeking something away from those artsy, award-seeking films and you want to see something public-friendly, then Insidious 4 is out this week as well, which I've just been to see.
He's in my head.
This is Elise.
I need help. Things are happening in my house, and they say you know about this stuff.
May I ask where you live?
I live in 5 Keys, New Mexico.
This house was my family's house.
So Insidious 4, The Last Key. I'll be completely honest, I can't remember what the other 3 were about, but I know that they featured a parapsychologist called Elise. Now she's been in all 4 of these films because she runs a company called Spectral Sightings, and she's always popped up in the previous films to chase the paranormal stuff. But this film is her story. This film is the Elise story. And what it does, it starts in 5 Keys, and the film starts when she's just a child. And I guess we kind of find out how she started her path to chase the paranormal. And then we cut to present day with Elise as she is now, and she has to go back to the house she grew up in, where she discovered her paranormal abilities, to once again face the demon inside the house. So I guess first off, the question is, do you have to have seen the other 3 films before you see this one? And the fact that I can't remember the other 3, I would say no, you don't really have to see the other 3 before this one. Because the story starts in the past, and the story is well told through flashbacks. And as I say, it's a story about Elise. It doesn't focus too much on the 3 films before that. This film is kind of its own little thing. But for those of you seeking a really jumpy horror film, this is where you might be disappointed. As I say, this is Elise's story, and the emphasis seems to be on story. And it's really good storytelling. They tell the story through flashbacks, they tell it through some found footage bits in a couple of scenes. I felt the first half of the film was really good storytelling. But it was the second half of the film where I sort of the pace just kind of slowed down in the second half. So going back to the jump scares, I can count the number of jump scares on one hand. All right, this hand. There was one right at the beginning. There was one about, there was one at the beginning. There was a second one about a quarter of the way through. The third one came about halfway through the film, and that was it. And I know they were good jump scares because I saw everyone else in the cinema jump. It wasn't just me that felt my heart jump into my skull. I also think with the jump scares, I think these films are very clever. I like the way they they lead you in one direction, and you get there, nothing happens, and then the actual scare happens literally within seconds after. They're very clever of diverting you off the scare path to frighten you with another one. So if you prefer a story over being scared, I think you like this. For hardcore horror fans, there's still the usual elements. You've got comedy from Elise's bungling colleagues, Tucker and Specs and Tucker, who are very funny and they have no idea about approaching girls. You have eye candy in the form of those 2 girls. And if you're a true fan of the Insidious franchise, there's a lot of that going through Red Door stuff towards the end and in the middle of this. I really thought the film was cast really well because you've got an older Elise, you've got an Elise who's 16 years old, and you've got an Elise who's a child. And the younger versions were cast really well because they kind of looked like the older Elise. So I think the casting was done really well. And I saw the first screening of the day that it came out, and to be honest, the cinema was pretty full. So I do feel that more people will go and see this one more than the Oscar-hungry films, because that's generally what happens. So if you like story with minimal jump scares, if you're a fan of the Insidious franchise, then you will like this one.
Be careful.
Trust me.
These hauntings can be terrifying things.